Playmakers, what's going on? This is Coach Wood, and thank you so much for coming back to the channel, coming to the Before You Go Pro channel, joining me. This is my labor of love. This is my chance to jump on the soapbox and talk about what's important to the football players, the parents of football players, the guardians, families out there, the coaches and the fans, you guys. All we want to do is serve, and we do that Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We've got a lot to talk about as usual. You know, the football industry always provides us with content, and then it's competitive. It's competitive, and you have to be more strategic than ever before if you want to navigate this industry. So that's what the Weekday Huddle is all about. If you're joining us for the very first time, once again, welcome. Please consider hitting that subscribe button if you enjoy the content that you receive today so that you're notified whenever we release a new episode of the Weekday Huddle. And then also, if you're new to the channel, check out the resources that we have down in the description box that are catered and geared towards young football players and families out there, you guys. So please check that out. Or if you know somebody, please do not hesitate to pass those resources along, you guys. So let's get after it. As always, we're trying to get through the weeds to find the things that matter the most, that can be practical to you young football players and you families of football players, the things that you guys can take to the bank, okay? So in today's topic, you guys, we're always looking for what the superstars do. We're always looking for what the superstars do, because if we can find that out, then we can pass it along to you. And a lot of times, you guys, we tend to think it's just, oh, that person's just that talented. And in some cases, yeah. In Myles Garrett's case, he's just that talented. In Joe Burrow's case, he's just that talented. But even Joe Burrow had to navigate things, and many people don't know he started his career at Ohio State before he found superstardom at LSU. For whatever reason, Ohio State wasn't head over heels to put him in the game right away. So even the greatest have to find a way, a strategy, an angle for them to get their shot. And when you finally get on the field, what is it time to do? It's finally time to make a play. You finally got your shot, right? So Coach Wood, all I obsess over, you guys, is you guys having success. You young football players coming up in the industry having success on and off the field. So the first thing we got to do is find a way to get you to the opportunity. Then we've got to get you on the field, and then you've got to make plays. So I'm always asking questions. If I'm around anybody great, you guys, or anybody who's been around people who are great, I'm always asking questions, and then I'm going to bring it back to the Weekday Huddle, you guys. So, not too long ago, I was with a good friend of mine, someone who's like a brother to me. We played in high school together. Shouts out Archbishop Reardon High School. And then we were fortunate enough, I'm a year older than him, to play at the University of Colorado together. So I went first, and then he came a year behind me. His name is Donald Strickland. We were both cornerbacks at the University of Colorado. He had a great career at CU, was fortunate enough to go play a substantial amount, I believe 8 or 9 years in the NFL. Lo and behold, to play that long, especially as a nickel cornerback, he had to bounce around to a few teams. And when he bounced around to a few teams, he played for the Niners, played for the Chargers, the Eagles. He played for a few teams where he was around greatness, played for the Jets. And one day we were sitting back, and I was asking him, because obviously you're thinking of all the greats that this guy played with. And I said, hey, man, you had a chance, or actually, you know what? I asked him, I said, because we had some great defensive backs when we were in college, too, at the University of Colorado. But I asked him, I said, hey, man, who's the best cornerback that you ever played with? who's the best cornerback that you practice with, you played with in the games, you got to see him in the locker room, you got to see him, in the film sessions, you got to see how they move. And you really got to see him do one-on-ones. You got to see him every day in practice. Who was the best cornerback, man, that you ever played with? And he said who I thought he was going to say. I wanted him to say it, but he said who I thought he was going to say. And he did get a chance to play with Darrelle Revis, the Hall of Fame cornerback, first ballot for the Jets, and obviously played at the University of Pittsburgh. So I expected him to say Darrelle Revis, but I didn't expect what he said when I asked him what made him so great. So when I said, who's the best cornerback you ever played with? He said Darrelle Revis. And then I said, well, what made him so great? Because Darrelle Revis obviously was gifted. But when you think of the tallest corner that you ever seen, you're not going to think of Darrelle Revis. When you think of the one with the absolute best hips, you're probably not going to think of Darrelle Revis. When you think of the one with the top line speed or the amazing ball skills, you're probably not going to think of Darrelle Revis. But when you think of people who could lock down, they had Revis Island. When you think of people who could lock down people by themselves, one-on-one in man coverage, he is somebody you think about. When you think about a first ballot cornerback, he is somebody you think about. When you think about somebody that was just hands down at some point in their career considered the best in the world at their craft, Darrelle Revis is somebody you think about. So when I asked him, okay, well, what made him great? He took a minute to think about it. And then the thing he said, it was beautiful, the thing he said, because in my opinion, this is what makes or breaks so many athletes, even great athletes. This is the thing that makes or break them. He said the thing that made Darrelle Revis so special was that he was so confident. He said, he didn't say he was so strong, even though he was all of these things. He was strong, obviously he could run with the receiver. He was smart, but that wasn't the thing that came to Donald's mind first. Obviously, Darrelle Revis is smart. He's strong. He's got ball skills. He's got hit. He's got footwork. He's got all of those things. But the thing that he said that separated him from all of the great cornerbacks that he's seen, and Donald's played with some great cornerbacks. He's played with the Nate Clements of the world. He's played with the Antonio Cromarties, the Harpers that was when he was with the Colts, So he's played with some great corners. The Lito Shepherds with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's played with some great corners, but Revis was far and beyond the best. And then he said the thing that made him the best was he had supreme confidence. So that made me think, how did he develop supreme confidence? Because first we're trying to decipher who we want to get information from, right? We want to go to the people that got it going on. So we've got to decipher, we've got to read the room, we've got to look at results, and we've got to say, okay, who do I want to ask questions to? Who has what I want? And then once you have pinpointed who that person is, you're asking them, okay, well, what are you doing to make yourself great? Or if you're talking to somebody that has had some time with this person, you're asking them, okay, well, what makes that person great? We know they're a first ballot Hall of Famer. What made that person great? And when the answer is something so poignant, so matter of fact as confidence, their confidence was just on another level than everybody else, then you have to ask yourself, well, why are they so confident? And this is the thing, you guys. This is how you feel about yourself in between your ears. We just had a session talking about the mental side of things. The mental side of things. Can you leave your high school team and go play at a big-time college and maintain your confidence? Can you get demoted maybe on the depth chart, but still maintain your confidence in yourself, i.e., Sam Darnold? Can you, or many people who have been cast aside, went somewhere else, and then blew up, the Kurt Warners of the world, the Steve Young, there's been plenty of people. Um, can you stay confident? Can you be more confident than anybody around you, anybody in that locker room? What breeds confidence? You know, preparation breeds confidence. Obviously, if you're talented, you're going to have a certain level of confidence. Affirmation from maybe the coaches breeds confidence. Donald explained that he was so he almost knew what was coming, and he was confident enough to jump it. You know, you could feel like you know a play is coming, but are you confident enough to pull the trigger? Some guys don't. They're fearful. Maybe, and I know at times in my career I was fearful looking over my shoulder that maybe if I didn't make the play, somebody was going to replace me. That's the opposite of confidence. So, what made Darrelle Revis so great? What made him separate from everybody else was that he was extremely confident. If you are the most confident player on your team at your position, then you're probably one of the best players on the team. You're probably the team captain. You're probably going to all conference. You're probably someone that the coach looks to when it's crunch time, if he knows that you're confident. You know, so how can you find your confidence that puts you on an elite level compared to everybody else around you? Do you have to work out more? Do you need a certain trainer? Do you need mental coaching? Do you need to study film more? Do you need to have a coach that really feeds into you? What would it take for you to have absolute elite confidence like Darrelle Revis? For him to be on the island in front of 75, 80,000 people, 90,000 people, and everybody knows he's out there by himself, and everybody knows that he's going to be possibly challenged. I know there got to a point where people didn't want to challenge him, but he's going against the best receiver on the other team. He had, if Randy Moss was out there, it was Darrelle Revis. Go check Randy. Go check Ocho Cinco. Go check Steve Smith. You know, and all of them said that he was legit. But once again, when you ask somebody that's seen him work every single day, that's seen him in one-on-ones, he said he was confident. I wish I could ask him what made him so confident. Something's telling me it's going to have something to do with the prep. If you know that you've ran more wind sprints than anybody on the team, a la Jerry Rice, you're probably going to be confident. If you know you've caught more passes, you're a receiver on the team, and you know from last season to the start of this season, we're going into training camp to the start of this season, I know for a fact nobody on this team has caught more passes than me this offseason. You're probably going to be confident in your hands. You know, if you just got finished with Olympic trials and you didn't make it to the Olympics, but you went to Olympic trials and then now you're going to the football team, you're probably going to be confident in your speed. So what was it that made Darrelle Revis so confident in his skills as a defensive back? That's the catch. That's what you have to find out for yourself. What do you have to do? Who do you have to talk to? Who do you have to work out with? What book do you have to read? How much film do you have to watch where you are such on a level of confidence that it is mandated that you have a breakout season because your confidence is sky high. And then can you maintain it? Can you maintain it for the length of the season? You know, the guys who get into the Hall of Fame, those are guys who has sustained a massive amount of content for a long period of time, for a good career. So now they're in the Hall of Fame. But that was surprising, you guys, to talk to somebody who's been around greatness, been around somebody that's a first ballot Hall of Famer, day in, day out, watched them practice, watched them in the film room, and then when you ask him, hey, what made it great? What made him great? It was nothing physical. It was nothing physical. He didn't say he had massive strength and nobody could get off the line of scrimmage. He didn't say his speed was better than anybody I had ever seen. He didn't say his ball skills were better than anybody he had ever seen. He said he is the most confident cornerback he had ever seen. So then, all right, how can we reverse engineer Darrelle Revis type confidence? How can we reverse engineer Darrelle Revis, Tom Brady type confidence? That's going to be key for you guys if you want to get to a big level and play at a high level once you get there. Is can you be confident? When my game changed is when I lost my confidence. All right? So, hey, there's a secret sauce, you guys. We're going to keep coming in to these weekday huddles, and as I find things from great people, I'm going to bring it back to you guys. But where's your confidence at? The phone may not be ringing. Are you confident? Because it may ring tomorrow. Somebody may say, we need to see you perform tomorrow. And the higher you get up, that's more and more likely. When I was a free agent trying to get pro shots with the NFL, Canada, Arena Football League, there were times where coaches were like, we need to see you in a week. We need to see you in a couple days. We need to fly you out. So you have to always be ready. That means that your confidence has to always stay with you. All right? I'm Coach Wood. Hopefully you guys are well. Please check out all of the resources in the description box. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are extremely close to 1,000 subscribers, which is huge. Coach might have to pop some Moet on the channel because that is a big feat for us to finally reach 1,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button. Please share, and I'll see you at the top.